I want to talk about what I believe to be one of the most underrated albums in not just independent Christian music, but in Christian music in general. I don't hear people talking about this album. If you check any of what I'm listening to though, you can find some of the songs from this album on there. The album is titled Zechariah, and it is by the project For Tuesday, which is run by a guy named Mark Ferris, who produces and writes everything on there. I actually found out about this album through a buddy of mine named Billy, and he runs a Substack called Still Small Voice that focuses on some independent artists as well. You should check it out. But several years ago, I started listening to this album, and it's actually about the book of Zechariah in the Bible, which is already a really unique premise because it's very hard to write a song that is based just around scripture and what's being said without it being, gimmicky. I did a song several years ago with the Verses project that was based on a verse in Romans, and it truly was very challenging to write it word for word. And while this album is not word for word, it is very close, and all of the topics and all of the marks are there. The book of Zechariah is obviously a prophetic book. Basically, it's highlighting God's presence in the people's lives, and then it's also going into kind of like these messianic prophecies as well. So it's a really fascinating choice to pick for an album. So that's one thing that's really amazing about it. The second thing is the production value and what we find in this album sonically. Mark states in the Spotify profile that this was kind of based around him spending some time in the Appalachian Mountains and him testing things with sonicscapes and loops and guitar pedals and using cassette tape. It all translates beautifully into this album. There's like this warmth and these warbles that come in. You're flowing in and out of kind of lo-fi sounds, but with this kind of ambient rock undertone, while hearing these lyrics that are so complex, but they really dig at you. The first half of the album, I just remember sitting there and feeling like I might cry, because it not only was beautiful in a sound way, but it was beautiful in a lyric way. I think there are two songs on here that really speak to that. Red Horse is a beautiful sounding track. I mean, it's got this texture that's growing and building, and then when this low rumbling bass kick kind of comes in, it's just really unbelievable. But my favorite track on the album is probably Seven Lamps, which again is alluding to one of the prophetic visions that Zechariah was having for the people, and it is just absolutely unbelievable. The acoustic riff kind of flowing into it, it just hits so hard. And every time that I show somebody this track, they're like, who is this? And they immediately add it. Here's why I'm telling you about this album. I want this album to blow up. Sometimes it's easy for me to want to gatekeep something and keep it to myself. If something gets over-listened, I feel like I don't want to listen to it anymore. But this guy, he only has 1,500 listeners a month on Spotify. And I truly feel like it's kind of a shame that it's not listened to more. So Mark, if you're listening to this, I listen to your album all of the time. Guys, if you're watching this video, please go stream the album Zechariah by For Tuesday and come back to the comments and let me know what you think of it, or what your favorite song is, or what your favorite thing about the album is. My next video is about Skillet, and I'm listening all the way through the catalog, so make sure that you're here for that.